Hey everyone, welcome to this live video. I'm here tonight with Katherine, my good friend Katherine, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me, first of all. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah-Luce. I'm a teacher, a spin instructor, and I do that vitamin thing. So basically tonight we're going to be learning a little bit about Katherine's journey. It has been absolutely incredible to witness and be a part of her journey. She is actually one of the first people to trust me and to take the leap of faith and go ahead and do this with me, and she kind of like followed me into this journey that we didn't really know what we were going to expect, but we kind of just, we said, okay, let's do this. And so we did it, and it absolutely changed our lives. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear what she lived, what she went through. And a year later, like it's more than a year now, but a year later where she finds herself now because of that choice that she made in that first couple of months that I had started. So anyways, okay, so first of all, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone listening? Tell them a little bit about who you are, what you're all about. I'll leave you the floor.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Katherine Redekopp, and I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm a fur baby mom, and I'm also a Gigi because I'm way too young to be a grandmother, but I adore my grandbabies. And I have a background in customer service and actually quite a varied background, entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur. And so it's kind of been in my blood, but it's always kind of been a passion as well. So I guess anything else that...
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about what life was like before you incorporated our 3-step supplement system.
Wow. Okay. Well, I personally have always been somebody who's tried to improve myself. I'm really big into personal development. And, a lot of my journey started in my development with my relationship with God. And so I know that a lot came from that. And probably the Bible truly is my first personal development book. Yeah. But there is a lot of supplemental books that I've read and courses and things that I've been involved with that have helped. And so there's things that I understand, I guess, about, choices that we make. But, I'm human too. And even though we know the right things to do, we don't always do the things that we know we're supposed to do. And I've had varying degrees of health throughout my life. But it seems like since I can remember, weight is something that I had always struggled with. And I can remember being very young and being put on a diet and not even, I was like 7, 8 years old. So, but it's weird how those things start to play into your mindset and the way you see yourself. So I know that for, prior to being introduced to this system, at one point in time, I had been much healthier. But as life got busy, I was married and then divorced. And so I was faced with being a single mom, raising 2 kids, trying to figure out what I was going to be when I grew up, because I had been a stay-home mom at that point. And there was a lot of things that kind of fell in my lap that all of a sudden I was responsible for everything. Even though I'd always been responsible for everything at home, all of a sudden I was responsible for finances. I was responsible for, everything, yard maintenance, everything. So there's a point of, and then I still have my love for personal development and trying to figure out how I can balance those things and how I can move forward and not be stuck in a position of limited income for, extended periods of time for the rest of my life. And so my health, I really took for granted. I've always been somebody that's pushed myself physically and, started very easily going to things to keep myself going. So, you know, developed a Dr. Pepper addiction and still, that's a very tough thing to give up. It really is. And, you know, sugar is the worst kind of crack that there is because it's just so addictive. And, but that was something that really, I found myself setting patterns of bad behaviors like that initially I didn't realize how much it was working against me. But, you know, the compound effect of all of that just started to really take over. And, you know, again, being the single mom and my kids in school and being involved in their activities, being the PTA mom, being the band mom, you know, color guard, all of those things, which, you know, I adore my children. I was there for all of that. It just, myself and my health got put to the back burner. And so it was a gradual, it's kind of like a snowball. I mean, it really is the compound effect. So, you know, when you start into a groove of some bad habits, they very easily can take over. And that's where I found myself. You know, I got to the point where I was at a personal development retreat in September of 2018. And, you know, I've always pushed myself physically. Like, it's really never been an issue. I just do it. Like, it's got to be done. I do it. And I'm there at this retreat. We are, you know, being tested physically, mentally. You're finding out like what your hangups are, what's going on, and how much mentally, you know, everything is such a mental issue. And that's what, you know, that's what I realized. But like, I just kept going. Yep. And I went until my body literally gave out. And I remember people telling me, you know, on my team that were there with me, were like, you know, oh my God, that was so inspiring. You know, we're so impressed. And like, that was great, but it was just such a, it was such a hard moment for me to celebrate because I knew that I did way less physically than what I had been capable of, you know, 10 years before. And yes, I was 10 years older, but there was so much more going on, you know, with my health. And so it really was one of those things that, you know, we had one of our last challenges that we did was actually to walk on fire. And they didn't tell us that we were going to do that. So it was really, truly like we showed up that night. They're like, hey, this is what we're doing. And I know it's to minimize the freak out. but what's really interesting, I guess, is I really learned, and a lot of it is my growth in my relationship with God, to be more in tune to things that are going on in my spirit. And I remember that afternoon when we were leaving and they told us like to come that evening, and they kind of told us more how to dress because they wanted us to be prepared with closed-toed shoes and things like that. But I was walking back to our dorm, and inside of me was like, you're walking on fire tonight. And I was like, what? And I was like, I really think we're doing that. So when they told us then at the evening gathering, it didn't really surprise me. It was like, oh, I knew that, you know? And I tell you that because it's kind of important in the next part of the story. So we go through a process of like, they kind of teach you how to go through and how to actually do this task. But it's still, again, it's that mental challenge of actually convincing yourself, I can walk across fire. And so you have to have something that is your motivant. Like, what is it that you're walking for? What is it that you want to accomplish this task for? And so I remember that I had come up with something, and I'm sure it was business related, honestly. But we got all the way up to getting in line, and there was 2 rows, and this is a 30-foot long pit. And in all actuality, it is the longest one in the world. I mean, maybe the Aborigines do longer, but as far as like, you know, people being brought in to actually participate this is actually the longest one. And so it's no little thing to sit there and watch you know, everybody else and the coals as they're being laid out. And I'm standing there and watching and supporting, you know, all of my teammates that are going. And then it's my turn, and I'm like just a couple of people in front of me now. And I heard somebody else say, "Oh, I'm walking for my health," because we had to declare what it was out loud. And when they said that, it like just gripped me. And I was like, that's not like, no, that's not mine. That's not what I'm walking for. And so I know that you know, that moment seems like so long, but I know that everything is going pretty quickly. But then it's my turn. And as I'm turning to, because there's a camp counselor that's there with you and like letting you know, okay, they're ready. Well, she goes, hold on a second. And then they came and they put more coals. So it was like the hottest it could possibly be. And so again, we're standing there like watching this and like mental challenge of like, you know, you're going to do this, like you've got to do this. But internally for me was, I don't want to walk for my health. It was like, no, that's not what I'm supposed to be walking for. Like I wanted to walk for this other thing, but I knew deep down in my spirit, it was like that need to walk for my health. And I remember when she asked me, you know, when they were done and I'm sitting there watching, everything is like just glowing red. And she's like, okay, we're ready. You know, you can go ahead and make your declaration. And I said, I'm walking for my health. And I remember I was so mad. I was mad because that is not what I wanted to walk for. But I did. I walked across, and when we get to the other side, you're supposed to celebrate. And I remember that I did not celebrate fully either because I did not want to walk for that. But, you know, I went through, we meet afterwards, we kind of talk about some things and some insights that we have. We can ask questions and things. And it was just like, okay. And I remember that I took pictures there at the end. We didn't take a lot during the retreat, but I took pictures there at the end with some friends, and it was with somebody else's phone, and it wasn't until they sent me that picture, and I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, you don't realize like how bad things are. You know, I'm looking at that going, well, if the camera adds 10 pounds, there must be like 15 cameras on me.
No, I totally understand how you feel. I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, so I went ahead and came back and worked on all these other things, but it was still not taking, you know, that seriously. And it would just pop up every once in a while in the back of my mind, and I would just push it aside. And so the beginning of 2019 came around, because that happened in September of 2018. The beginning of 2019 came around, and I really felt some things going on inside, and was really struggling with really low moods, low motivation. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. This is not me. Like, but I didn't feel like it was just, you know, and I know all about how to fix attitudes, you know, all of that stuff. And I did all of that. And I'm like, there's something else going on. It's like, God, I don't know what else is going on, but there's something going on. And I'm just going to trust you to like, show me what I need to do. And he brought up to me, like, I heard it, like, again, you know, speak up to me in my spirit. And it was like, you walked on fire for your health. It's like, when are you going to do something about it? It was like, I said it out loud, like talking to myself, and I'm like, Katherine, you walked on fire for this. It's time to do something. You know, you need to do something about this. And then it's like, what? You know, because of course we want to fix everything. We want everything fixed in a minute, you know, because that's how quickly we got there, right? In a minute. But I kid you not, like when you make a decision that you're going to do something, you make that decision and like things open up, and that's what happens. I mean, that's the way that God works. That's the way the universe works. But, you know, because we have free will, we get to choose that. But when you're open, then when that opportunity comes, you know, voila, here. And so literally the next day, my friend Sarah, reaches out to me, and we didn't know each other very well to start with, and we had some chatting, they just catching up and kind of seeing really like who each other were. But she's like, I have something that I think you should try. And I was like, this timing is undeniable. There is no doubt in my mind. And I'm like, yes, I'm open. Yeah, send me the sample. So I got the sample, and I remember the first day I took it, like I got up. I had so much energy. I got up, I cleaned the house, ran my errands. I went and got the dog, went to the park and walked. Like my dog had never been to the park and walked. And I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing.
I know, right?
Like, I haven't felt like this, and like I can't remember when. And it was like, there was so much excitement, but I felt so alive again. And it was just crazy. Like, is this really real? And, I had a lot of toxins in my body. I had, a lot of things going on that had built up over time. So, by that night I had a little bit of things going on, and, it's no surprise. And I don't know if you're going to be able to show the picture or not, because I want people to see, like, really, like, it was bad. Like, I was in a bad place, and physically. And so I made some adjustments, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself some time, but step back into it again. And it truly, like, it has changed my life. I remember I had only been on it for probably about a week or so. And my husband looks at me and he's like, you're so happy, like all the time. And he's like, I want some of that.
What are you thinking? What is this?
Yeah, I know. And it's so true. And I'll have to share his story, what happened with him. I mean, the first day I had him on it, I came home and he had been a whole day at work, come home, and he was cleaning the house. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, let's keep this up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I feel like,
Katherine, I remember when you sent me a voice message and you had gone hiking, and you said, and that voice message made me cry my eyes out. I'm actually remembering it right now, and it's making me tear up. But that was incredible. And that's the day that I actually said, like, we have to share this. Like, this, people need this. And so that is the day that I actually figured out, like, this need, like, people need this, you know what I mean? Like, you have an obligation to share this. And if you don't, then you're keeping people from living their best lives. You're keeping people from becoming the healthiest version that they can be of themselves, and that was because of that voice message that day where you went hiking and you came back saying, I have chills, but you came back saying,
it was on the hike.
It was on the hike.
Oh, it was on the hike. Mm-hmm. I sang that message on the hike, yes. Because I had always been very active with my kids, love being outside, love challenging myself. So hiking, things like that. And I mean, physically hadn't been able to do that. I really hadn't. And, I started on these products the beginning of April, and I sent you that message in June. And all I started out with was walking. I mean, even still now, like, I don't do anything more than walking. And I've lost over 50 pounds. I've lost like 9 inches in my waist the last time I measured. And I have a waist again. I have a waist again.
Abs forming. I saw that.
So my husband says that it's my Coke bottle figure. So
I love it.
But yeah, I remember that I was on that hike, and I went with my son, and we were gone for about 3 hours that day and went and hiked. And I had no idea, because I had not tested myself up to that point to see anything more than just, walking a fairly even trail. But we went and hiked, and I remember we were probably 2/3 of the way through, and so this is like 2/3 of the way through, about 2 hours in, and we're still hiking uphill. And I could actually keep up with him. I mean, he was, 20, 20 years old, and he had been on a fitness journey of his own, and super proud of him, because he runs and, runs trails and stuff, all of that. But it was the first time we'd gone together, and I was able to keep up with him. He wasn't waiting on me. And I remember thinking, like, oh my goodness, like, thank you so much, Sarah, for reaching out to me, that you took the chance to reach out to me and offer this to me, because it had, even at that point, which I think I'd only lost about, I lost initially, I think in the first like 5 or 6 weeks, I'd lost about 5 inches off of my waist. And I think I lost about, probably on average, about 20 pounds, but I had so much energy, and I was able to do things that I love, like with my children. I wasn't having to sit back and watch anymore, which pained me, because I would push myself to do things, to play with my grandchildren, and it's kind of funny, is because my grandson knows, Gigi's the one that does everything with him. I'm the one that does the things with him, not just watching him do it, but I go play with him. I hike with him. I play in the pool with him, and not just observing, and that's where the memories are made too. It's just been such a life changer. And my husband is on it. My daughter, my son-in-law, I mean, all of us have such improvement in our health, and it's all because you had the courage to reach out and share this with me. And that's kind of why I'm here now. It's like, I can't keep this in anymore.
No, like,
other people are in the same position or similar positions, and they need this too.
Yeah. And so what is your one message to finish off tonight? What's your one message for people watching right now? Like, what would you tell them? If they're just finding out about these 3-step supplements for the first time, they're just finding out about this, they're maybe thinking about, looking more into it, maybe even giving it a try. Like, what's your message to them?
Okay. I would say yes. Say yes to yourself. Mm-hmm. Say yes to the possibilities. I also would say yes to realizing that we didn't get in the situation we're in now overnight. So say yes to that person who is offering this to you, to let them hold your hand, to guide you through this. If you have questions, or if you have anything that's going on, all of our bodies are different. So there's tweaks and stuff that need to be made. It's not going to work. Not everybody's going to feel it on the first day. Most people don't. Mm-hmm. Most people don't. I think I was just in the position that I was so desperate, but I also had that open. I was open to it, And the other thing is being consistent.
Yeah.
Just being consistent.
And it's so easy that it's easy to be consistent, like, you wake up, you take it, it's done for the day. You don't have to think about it again until the next day. That's it. There's numerous amount of programs and systems out there that are much more complicated and much harder to stay consistent with. But when you are actually really consistent with these 3 steps, when you wake up every single morning and it's just part of your routine, the domino effect is just amazing. It's amazing.
Well, all of the things that you want for your health are behind saying yes. Because my cravings for bad foods are gone. Yeah. I wanted to crave good foods, but I didn't. You know, I wanted to eat healthy, but I didn't. And there's so much wrapped up in willpower when you think that, you know, you have to will your way into this. And it's really not. Like, give yourself grace, give yourself, commit to yourself to take care of yourself. Because when you do this one thing, and it's so simple, like Sarah said, these 3 simple steps to add to your morning routine, there is a snowball effect of things that take place in your health and in your life that you become open to, that come to you, the support. And there is a life so much greater than what you're living right now that is available on the other side of yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Beautifully said. I love that. Thank you so much, Katherine, for joining me tonight. And if you're watching this and this has spoken to you, this has touched you, please reach out. Reach out to me, reach out to Katherine, reach out to the person that shared this video with you. And we're gonna help you. We're gonna get you started. We're gonna get you started on this journey, because just like Katherine said, on the other side of yes is everything that you want. So thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.